Hello and welcome. I am Raashid Ahmed, a psychological well-being ambassador. I work for psychological well-being of students and organizations. Ladies and gentlemen, Amit was a student of psychology and he wanted to learn about behaviorism, a school of psychology from his teacher, Dr. Rahul. Amit asked Dr. Rahul, Dr. Rahul, I've been reading about behaviorism, and I think I get the basics, but I still have some questions. Dr. Rahul replied, Sure, Amit. Behaviorism can be a bit tricky at first. What's on your mind? Amit, well, for starters, how exactly does behaviorism explain learning? Dr. Rahul, great question. Behaviorism, particularly classical conditioning, was pioneered by Ivan Pavlov. Have you heard about Pavlov's dogs? Amit, yes, the dogs salivated when they heard a bell because they associated it with food, right? Dr. Rahul, exactly. Pavlov demonstrated that a neutral stimulus, like a bell, when paired repeatedly with an unconditioned stimulus, like food, eventually elicited the same response as the food itself, which is salivation. Let's use a practical example. Imagine you always play a specific song right before you eat your favorite dessert. Eventually, just hearing that song might make you feel hungry or crave the dessert. Amit, oh, that makes sense. So, classical conditioning is all about forming associations between stimuli and responses? Dr. Rahul, precisely. And then there's B.F. Skinner with operant conditioning, which focuses on how consequences shape behavior. Have you read about Skinner's experiments with rats? Amit, a bit. He used a box, right? Dr. Rahul, yes, the Skinner box. He showed that behaviors could be increased or decreased through reinforcement or punishment. For instance, if a rat pressed a lever and received food, it was more likely to press the lever again. Think about training a dog to sit. If you give the dog a treat every time it sits on command, that's positive reinforcement. Amit, and that's positive reinforcement? Dr. Rahul, correct. Positive reinforcement adds a pleasant stimulus to increase a behavior. There's also negative reinforcement, which involves removing an unpleasant stimulus to increase behavior. For example, if you have a headache and take an aspirin to relieve it, you're more likely to take aspirin again in the future when you have a headache because it removes the pain. Amit, I see. And punishment is the opposite, right? Dr. Rahul, yes, punishment aims to decrease a behavior. Positive punishment adds something unpleasant, like a scolding for bad behavior, while negative punishment removes something pleasant, like taking away a child's video game time for not doing homework. Amit, so, behaviorism focuses purely on observable behaviors, not thoughts or feelings? Dr. Rahul, that's right. Behaviorists believe that since thoughts and feelings can't be measured objectively, they should not be the focus of psychological study. They argue that studying observable behavior is the only way to ensure psychology remains a rigorous science. For example, in a classroom setting, a teacher might use praise, positive reinforcement, to encourage students to participate more. And then how can we forget the pioneer of behaviorism, John Watson? John Watson emphasized that the environment shapes everyone's behavior. John Watson once said that, "Give me a dozen healthy infants, well-formed, and my own specified world to bring them up in, and I'll guarantee to take anyone at random and train him to become any type of specialist I might select, doctor, lawyer, artist, merchant chief and, yes, even beggar man and thief, regardless of his talents, penchants, tendencies, abilities, vocations, and race of his ancestors." That's all for today. Hope you enjoyed